Hey guys, it's Jason. So we have a special video today. This is some upgrades to some miniature stuff, which I find really cool to get upgrades for my games. I found a creator on Etsy whose name is Josh. I'm not going to list any other information about him for that. Well, that's up to him if he'd like to do that. But it is 1UpYourGames at 1UpYourGames.etsy.com. So like some of the main ones I got are these cool standees for Marvel United. They already had 3 seasons. They also work for DC United as well. Although he's constantly making more and changing the designs on them, tweaking them to make sure they fit or have the new card types. And DC's adding some new stuff in there, so it'll be interesting. We're going to look at them with the cards in just a minute. He also has some other ones here designed. He has some miniatures. He has some other stuff as well. You can definitely check out some Arkham horror card game stuff, which I haven't picked up yet. I might pick up some of those as well as some other different design stands. Definitely go check out the site because they have some cool ones for miniatures. The first thing I wanted to look at, though, was actually for the Marvel United or any United game. I guess the DC one would work too. For the game. So I'm just going to open up. This is just the core set. Nothing extra special in there. But he made these red and blue holders for everything, which are I thought were really cool. I wanted to pick them up and take a look. Because a lot of people like to store everything in, try and get everything into one box or into their base game. And now, granted, with Marvel United, there are 3 years worth of content. The base one, the X-Men set, and now the multiverse, and the DC coming out. There's at least another one. So you're not going to fit every single piece of thing into one box. But this is a great way to get, if you only have a couple of sets or you like to do it. And you might be able to even contact him if there's just certain pieces you want. Maybe he can separate them out and do a deal. That's, again, on him. This they sell as one full set. So this is what it looks like. Again, this is just the core set stuff. And he's already designed this to hold, to also accommodate for if you've got the Spider-Geddon core set, which is the new set that came out with Multiverse. Or to also hold maybe or if you got the X-Men set, or to also maybe hold a couple of expansions. So I just want to look at what the base set had in here. So first of all, we have this tray right here, which is for potentially holding villain cards. You can also put miniature cards in here as well, like equipment cards, or other things like that. And we have our 3 different villains in there. We have Red Skull, Taskmaster, and Ultron. Then this piece that's right here holds all your different tiles. What's really nice here is on the bottom, they're open. They have a spot here to grab 2 as well, so if it's sitting on your table. Oh, I need to pick which one I want. You can just lift it up that way, or you can push it from the bottom, which is really great. And again, these are just the regular tiles from the base game. So there's plenty of room in there. But then this actually can slide back in there. So again, if you don't have a ton of stuff, you can always, this can always raise up a little bit if it needs to be. But also realize that this is as tall as the box. So if it goes up any higher than this, then you're going to be in trouble. But we'll take a look at how full it can get in just a moment. I just want to look at what the base set holds. See if that's worth it. So we have another one that does the same thing. I love that it goes alternate colors. So this one here can hold your hero decks. We got Wasp and Ant-Man on this side. We got Black Widow, Captain Marvel, and I believe Hulk is on the bottom. And then we have Iron Man and Captain America on this side. So we have our 2, 4, 5, 7 main heroes in there. Again, pulling from the side, or they have the little things on the bottom. And then here are our villains. But again, a little extra spot there. These are just the 3 villain tiles. So again, as you get some more stuff, you see the size will increase. If you have 2 or 3 expansions, it'll definitely fit up into there. And that's nice because they all fit right back in the box. We have an additional little deck holder here. Right now, I just put the challenges and the missions in there. You can put any other types of cards you'd want in there. It's just going to be great for like other, your team decks, other things like that. Campaign decks, put all that type of stuff in there. Maybe put some of your favorite characters in. Hey, we always use these couple of characters. You could throw them in there as well. Then we have 4 trays here. So let's take a look at those. scooch some of this. So this stuff is all really quality made. It's very durable. Like, I haven't tried to, like, snap it or anything, but I wouldn't do that if I bought, like, an official CMON product either. So why would I do it with somebody else's? So I have a little blue tray here holding all the different stuff. Again, these aren't like you have to put these in these order. These are just an example. But they have a little bit bigger slot here if you want to do the heroic here, because there are more. But then you kind of pull this out, have this on the table for everybody. Then we have the same one for the villains. And I did mine a little bit different than how he had his. We have our health tokens, thug and civilian tokens, crisis, threat tokens. Then we have a little extra spot. And I have 2 more extra trays. So why do I need 2 extra trays? Because once you start buying some of the expansions, you're going to get extra stuff. The Thor expansion, or the Spider-Man expansion, had little photography things. The Spider-Geddon set had some spider tokens. We eventually get equipment card you can put in here, or if you get the X-Men base set, you had the Danger Room decks and stuff like that. So definitely a little bit extra space to put all the extra components. And again, you can kind of mix and match them however you like. You know, and this might be a thing. If these start selling, maybe if they sell really well, or if you're like, hey, I really like this tray and this tray, but I'm not really a fan of this, or maybe you love this tray and you just like to get more of these, you might be able to talk the 1UpYourGame guy, Josh. He might be able to do a deal, make something special or a custom order for you. But again, that would be his call. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick pause on the video. I'm going to fill this up with stuff from the expansion so we can kind of see how it looks when it's a little bit more full. Alright, so here I have loaded this up. This is all of Marvel United Season 1 and Season 2 with one exception of I don't have the Spider-Geddon tokens for whatever reason. This is all the tokens from all the different sets. These are the plastic tokens, which arguably aren't really much more thicker. So they're not adding too much, but you can see I have the regular tray. We had our different icon tokens. We had some BAM in there. In the villain one, we kept a lot of the stuff the same. I did add the acceleration and deceleration tokens, some KO tokens you would get. So again, these two can kind of be sitting out, ready to go to play. Then we have some more specific stuff, the villain specific, Doom, Mr. Sinister, Loki, Wakanda, Kingpin. We have some Spider-Man stuff in here. We have a bunch of different cubes for trackers in there. This one I had to kind of combine a couple of them. Mystique, Sabretooth, Sauron. And then this one also, this is all Mojo, I believe. Mojo, Arcade, one of the two. I can't remember off the top of my head which one they are. I think it's Mojo stuff. And then this side, we have Boomer, Boom Boom, Iceman. We have the Red versus Gold team stuff. We have the multiple man tokens. The only one I didn't really have a space for were the big giant Sentinel ones. I mean, so looking at the fact is this is just the first 2 years. There's going to be a couple more tokens for Season 3. Probably not a ton. You know, we have water tokens, Terrigen Mist tokens. There's the spot tokens I don't have on here either, stuff from Spider-Geddon. So you can see right here, I'm getting most of all this in here if I own every expansion. So if I want to put everything in there, I'm probably going to have to buy another set of stuff. But it's still not bad for what it's holding for everything that's in here. Then we have the training and battle plan cards from the sets, and they fit in there. And I have them in little mini sleeves, and they fit in there perfectly. I think there are a couple more maybe battle plans coming out in the third set. So again, that might run into an issue there, here or there. But again, this at least gives you the idea. If you own everything, how well everything does fit in here. So it was very well accommodated for. The next thing we wanted to look at were locations. So we have our locations. This is all of the locations from the base game, or the two sets, including all the promo stuff, all them sets from pro sets, including the Danger Room. You can see it fits in there, takes up quite a bit of room. And if we take the villain tray, though, and we set it on top, now you can see it's going to be overflowing. That's going to be higher than the box. So either your box have to be higher, or if you're maybe using the multiverse, or the Kickstarter box, if you got one of the Kickstarters, those boxes are a lot bigger. You can actually probably get more, multiply 2 sections and stack these in there a little bit more. But yeah, just showing that would happen so if you have all of them. And I also want to show with that is these are the regular, just plain Jane ones you get from the all the boxes. So if I take a stack of these are 30 of these that are from, if you get the cardboard ones, I can only fit 30 in there. So if they'll fit in here nice. But the cardboard ones do fit in here nice. So if you did upgrade during the Kickstarter campaigns to the cardboard tiles, you can fit 30 in there comfortably. Now again, that means now you don't have room for this, but if you're buying this much, you probably have the assuming you bought the Kickstarter stuff, you probably have a box big enough to maybe set them in. But yeah, that's gonna be, what's that, 1, 2, 3. 23, 24. So here is the difference. So here's 30 regular versus 30 of them. So you can definitely see you're going to need multiples of these, probably at least 3. So it's 1, 2, 1, yeah, about 3 stacks of these just to be able to do all the cardboard. And again, that's only seasons 1 and 2. That doesn't include if you do season 3 with the multiverse, which you'll have again a ton more. Before we look at the cards, let's look at the villain trays as well. So again, here's the same idea there. Here are all the villain ones, including the blue versus gold and the Phoenix 5 stuff. And they'll fit in there pretty nice. And again, here's actually what's nice about this, is this one will set in there. It's pretty much to the top, so that one would work. But what we also end up with is this. So again, I can take another 30 of these villain dashboards. They're cardboard and fit them in there with no extra room. And again, so you're probably going to need a decent chunk more to fit all of them in there. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you have all the cardboard ones, you're not going to be able to fit all of them in just one set. You might need to buy 2 of these, 3 of them, depending on how much stuff you own. So another fun thing that you can actually do with both of these sets, either the locations or the villain cards, I just want to show off here really quick, is if I have my hero cards, you can actually set your hero cards in here first, set your villains on top. So this might maybe be a great way if you don't have a lot of this or a lot of that, because they'll sit right on top here. They'll sit and they'll hold your cards down as well, and then these won't fall out. So that's an alternative way, and you can do that with this one as well. You can put this on the bottom and stick your locations on top if you would like to do it the other direction. So it's neat that they are interchangeable that way. So that's pretty cool. Then we wanted to look at what's actually this. So this is our 7 main characters unsleeved. This is sleeved cards. Now again, sleeves are all going to come in different sizes, grades, thicknesses. I have some off-brand called Dragon. Not Dragon Shield, not like the really expensive, cool ones. I got another off-brand. But if you buy penny sleeves for $1, they're going to be a little bit thinner, but they also are a little bit wider on top. So they may not fit in here as well. But I think most regular high-quality sleeves will fit in here. Now, again, 7 unsleeved characters versus I think I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 regular characters in there. And they're kind of already sliding off the top. So that means you can fit either about 21 unsleeved characters in one of these, or you can fit about 15, possibly. They get pushed down by the box. Be about 15 regular. So again, depending on how much you have, is going to depend on how much you're going to want to use this storage. Now, I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit here to one of the other things I'm going to show off. Is he does have these stands here as well. And we'll look at these a little bit more. So This is a nice thing if you're really trying to go all out. You could get this stuff, but these stands, if you're going to want to display your miniatures, actually have holders for the cards. So if you get all these stands, you buy enough stands for all your stuff, or maybe just even if you don't buy one for every character, but you buy some for a couple of your favorite characters, then that's less cards you'd have to put in here. So that's potentially a solution that this Etsy creator has also done for us. And the same thing is stuff for villain. And we'll look at those in just a minute. But again, here we have our 3 villains versus I think we have 5 in here. We have 1, 2, we only have 3 in here as well. Because they're sleeved, they take up just as much room. So you can fit either 6 sleeved ones, or probably if we add another one in here, maybe 8 regular ones. Again, kind of keep that in mind. This side they had for sleeved cards for like your equipment cards. We have from Spider-Geddon, we have some web shooters and some stuff from Penny Parker. Now I did notice though, with these being sleeved, they do not fit in here super well. They will fit in there, but with my sleeves, they're a little tight. Although I have mentioned before when I worked with this creator, that when something was a little bit, they might adjust. I'm not sure how much you can adjust these. They don't need to be adjusted much. They're not wrecking the cards, just a little close in there. But yeah, maybe he'll get them adjusted. I'll mention it, and maybe he'll adjust these just slightly. But again, they need to fit inside the box. There's only so much you can really do with that. But unsleeved, you could definitely fit a ton of those in there. Now it's just gonna, again, hold every equipment when Multiversal comes out, all these little tiny decks. I can't say that because there's a lot of equipment coming out for that. But yeah, so that's kind of how all of those work. So the other thing we had in here, just to point out, to finish going through the rest of it, so the stuff we don't have any space for. We don't have space for the 6 rings, for the red versus blue, and then when Civil War comes out, for Multiverse, we'll have some more rings, including some bigger rings. So there's a tray missing from there. So again, this might be just the case of maybe one of these trays needs to be maybe make another tray. You like just get rid of one of these dividers, so it's big enough to drop a bunch of these in there, and then buy like a set of that to go with the Multiverse. So again, you might be able to fit buy 2 or 3 sets of these, or mix and match, possibly to be able to do that. We don't have any room. They'll just have to sit on here, the big giant boards. They'll just have to sit on there. Obviously, once you add in the cardboard versions, they become a little bit thicker, so the box might actually sit up again a little bit higher. Then the last thing we had was I had all our different mission cards. We had our Guardians of the Galaxy and Plan Bs, our regular ones, Train Hope, Use Cerebro. Again, I have the token versions of these. So they'll sit in there very nicely. Then we have the X-Men blue and gold ones, which I also set in there. Once you put all those in there, they fit in very nicely. You're going to be able to fit maybe one more cardboard. Again, if you're not using cardboard, you'll fit more in there. That's a great place to just hold all those. Just did not have a space then for the weak spots that go under the dashboards, or the other pieces that go under the dashboards. The weak spots that go under for the Sinister Six, or they have the same size that go under the dashboards for the regular ones. They go like this, so I'd have 6 for each of them. There's no extra space to put them, but again, if I'm going all out with everything, with all the Kickstarter stuff, and you're getting all the upgrades like that, and you're going to bother to buy something like this, you're probably going to want to buy 2, and then you just have to, again, they have some of these trays that might work for that, or you get a second one of these trays. Again, even some of these that just maybe have some bigger holes in them would definitely be helpful for some of these things. But that's what we have for this set here. So as of right now, as of this video, all this stuff comes in one big giant set. I'm not going to say a price because prices can fluctuate based on materials, time, cost, all that. supply and demand type of thing. But it was a very good deal for what I got. It's all durably built. It, again, fit all my tokens. It's not going to fit all my cards, but again, you can fit enough of your cards, enough of your locations. If you don't use the cardboard ones, you can fit pretty much all your locations and all your characters. And again, if you have that many, you're getting the Kickstarter stuff. If you have at least one Kickstarter box, you can probably move all this stuff in there, buy a second set, and have more trays. Maybe there might be in the future, if these start doing well, the creator for 1UpYourGames, Josh, might separate some of these out and go like, be able to buy, I want more just the card ones versus more of these, or I want more token, maybe another 2 token trays. That's going to be up to his discretion. Alright, so the next thing I want to jump in that ties right into Marvel United are them stands we just looked at. So I'm going to move some stuff and we'll set those up. Alright, before we hop into the next thing, sorry for the shading, standing in front of my light source. I want to see how these would work if you get. I kept talking about the multiversal box sets, or the Kickstarter. So I was curious. So here we have the Marvel Season 1, and here we have the X-Men. So the X-Men is quite a bit bigger, but they're both physically the same size, like square-wise. So they should fit all of these components in there just fine. So I'm going to take a look at the Kickstarter one, the base game. So I throw these trays in there. I just kind of want to see how these are all going to look if I put all of these in here. So that one would go there. I'm going to fill that up. I'm just going to grab some cardboard ones quick. Because I was just, again, curious, like, if I needed to get more for all these cardboard, like, right, if I have to buy 2, if you have to get 2 or 3 of these, how many would actually fit is just the big question. It looks like I'd probably need about 2 of them for the cardboard villains. Well, maybe I can get most of them in there. I can get all the cardboard villains in one, it looks like, unless I'm missing something. They'll go right to the top, and then this can sit, of course, on top of there. So this doesn't leave a whole lot of extra room once they're sitting on top of those cardboard locations. That's something to mention, note there. If we're using the regular marble one, I probably should have done this differently, but we're going to drop all these tokens in there. So yeah, if the 2 trays holding the locations and the villain dashboards are completely full, we don't really have a whole lot of extra room up here. These 2 things are the same size, so we can't even fit another one of those on top. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, that this won't fit all of them. And then these trays are... How deep are these? These are not quite deep enough to go 2 to equal them. So you might be able to fit 2 more trays in here. Might be right to the top. So that's if you're doing with the regular one. Obviously, just also keep in mind, though, the more you do of these, the heavier these are going to get. Trying to put all this stuff into one box. I just want to see what happens if we put all of them into the big giant one. Because, yeah, like, would you be able to put all of this stuff in here into one box if you got all the sets? So that's going to take up a full one there. And, alright, so that goes right to the top, basically, of all these. Because that's the size of that. So I just want to check something here. So if we pull this out, we set that on top. So if we did 2 of the locations full, stacked on top of each other, there's going to be a little bit extra room, but not enough for one of these trays. I mean, a little bit, might stick over a little bit, not too bad. But that only does 2 of these. And I already said, if you're doing cardboard, you're going to need about 3 of these, and that's just for this set. The next set would actually add another one. And I don't think you can get 2 of these deep in a box. No. So, yeah, you'd only be able to get about 2 of them in there. Yes, if you're going cardboard location, this might not be the solution for everything. But if you're just using the regular ones, you didn't go cardboard, because you could definitely fit all of those into one of these. Get some stuff. You can fit them into either one of these boxes. And that's long extra one would be the same thing. You could stack 2 on top of each other. And then even with this, you can also get more of these. You could stack 1 there, stack 1 there. Get another set of 4 of these. So if you bought 2 sets, you'd be able to fit 2 sets more or less in here if you didn't put any of the cards in there. So if you did the next solution, you did all the cards that way. You're just putting the boards and tokens, you'd probably get most of them in here again, unless you did cardboard. And then you probably have to find a different solution. But that's just something to keep in mind, so you're not buying all these, thinking, oh, I can do all this. And also now you don't have enough stuff for all of them. But even still, if you did 1 box with a bunch, and then another box, regular box with that, there's still 2 boxes. It's a great way to store them so they're not sliding all around. Alright, so part 2 of this video is we're going to show off these cool stands that the creator made for Marvel United. So joining these because they can go on the shelf next to each other wherever you store them. And they're really easy to grab. So the idea, as I kind of showed before, is that you can put your cards back there for the character, put the miniature on there, and then you can just grab and play. I want to play as, this is, for one character I want to play as, Captain America, I can grab 1. I want to play as, Mystique or something, I can grab this. And just grab and go your character off the shelf. They're nice and displayed. So these are the 2 basic versions that are listed as an H. And it's supposed to be a V. Oh, no, it's A for anti-hero. So there's actually 3 different kinds. There's one that's a hero, which has a little thin deck. There's a villain, which has a little bit thicker deck. Grab one of those. There, V for villain. So it's a little bit thicker deck size, as you can see there. Because the villains have, these guys have 12 cards. These guys have 18, I believe. And then they have one for anti-hero, which has both. So if you're playing as Venom, Juggernaut, again, Mystique, a couple of them other characters, Deadpool, some of them guys that have multiple decks, you can definitely do that. So it's really neat. These are just the basic 3, and the miniatures will sit right in there. So for example, if we grab our Red Skull here, he'll slide in there. He sits in really nice. The creator also has a bunch of printable little name tags. I just printed off one quick, so it's maybe not the exact, I may have cut it wrong, so it doesn't sit in there perfectly. It's not a piece of paper. I mean, I've resized or whatever. This is on me, not on his thing. But yeah, so it's like just the name of the character with a blue underneath if it's a hero, red underneath if it's a villain. I don't remember if the anti-heroes had a different color or not. But you guys have that as a printable file when you get these. You can get a bunch of extra of those as well. So you have name tags on there if you'd like. So what's also cool, though, is they look really neat with or without painted miniatures. So some people don't paint, and this is a cool way to actually display your unpainted miniatures. I'm going to set these off to the side. We're going to look at some of these other designs he has as well. So here we have Spider-Punk. This is unpainted. It looks really cool because you can see the miniature. He has his deck on here. You can see his picture in the back, so you can easily tell who it is if you didn't have the nameplate on there. If we flip around to the back, this one actually has a spot for his equipment. So a lot of the newer characters with Season 3 of the Multiverse X-Men, or Multiverse Marvel, as well as the DC stuff, lots of characters come with equipment. So this might be something you need to pick up if you want to keep their equipment. Are you required to do that? Absolutely not. You can keep all the equipment in one of those aforementioned trays we saw, and just grab out whose you need when you want, because you're not required to play with the equipment. It is optional, because if you do, you're supposed to take out your wild cards. You don't have to. That's playing with companions. But yeah, you can opt to use the equipment, but it's not, again, it doesn't have to go with their deck. Alternatively, as of playing the cards with this back, you can always flip them the other way as well. So if you don't want to make nameplates, you could do this. You can usually see, oh, it's Spider-Punk. And if you use like one of the more generic cards, as opposed to like one with the ability, where then the ability is sticking out in the front. Like you could just, yeah, use like one with like a wild symbol. But again, you have multiple different pictures, so if you want, you know, oh, I want that one, or I want this one, you can always put that card out in front instead of the back, and it tells you who it is right away. So that could be an alternate way of doing that. Again, you don't want to print out and deal with the cutting up the nameplate and sticking all them in there. Now, I have my cards sleeved. They fit in there fairly well. Sometimes I have to, you know, maybe pull a couple and then drop them in there. But they do work there very well for that. You can see it fits in there, so you can have it multiple poses and all that as well. So we're going to take a look at a couple more here we got. So we do have anti-heroes, who are usually in purple. Now you see he doesn't have a lot of extra room to turn, because this is Scarlet Spider, but he has both of his decks back there. His hero deck and his villain deck. And then this one also comes with equipment. So you can get some of the anti-heroes will have equipment as well, so that works for that. So that's pretty cool that we get one of those. For other ones, we get something like Mystique, who is an anti-hero, but instead of having equipment, she actually gets her token. So the Robert Kelly one, Senator Robert Kelly, or we have, to go with that, is we have Sabretooth, who's just a villain. You can see they're different sizes, but they're two different decks. Sitting there, and he has his Hunted token. So some characters like this, again, you're going to play against a villain. Like, right, I want to play against Sabretooth. I can grab him off my shelf, because they can sit just like this. And I already have his token with him. I don't have to go dig through my box looking for it. Now, this is not going to work. Solution isn't going to work for every single one, because these are easy for the guys that have one. Someone like Sauron has, I think, 2. Some of the other guys have like 5 or 6. Like if you're using Kingpin, he has his plan tokens, which has 6 of them. They're a little bit bigger. Harder to add all of them in there. So it's not going to be ideal for every single one. But it does work for most of them. And again, with these guys, you can flip them around to the other side too. We have their threat cards. Now, unfortunately, because we put these like this, they're not nearly as neat or interesting looking as the other way. But again, you don't want to use your nameplate. It's a great way so you can easily see which character it is, in case maybe you just don't know them all by name. And again, trying to slide these back in here. So they don't always just slide in super easy like that, but that's just because I have so many. But if I just take a couple of them, drop the first half in, take the second half, slide that in, perfect, voila. Works perfectly. Again, you can see the miniatures look even great on there unpainted. So if you haven't painted them with the picture in the back, it looks really cool. So some other examples we have Spot from the new Spider-Geddon set. So he does come with 6 little round tokens. So he did make some of the whole round tokens. And these guys regular deck there. Now I do want to note this, is that these are the cardboard tokens. They fit in there fairly snug. I mean, they come out pretty easily. You just gotta kind of pull a couple at a time. But if I take plastic tokens, so if you get the plastic token set, and I don't have his yet, because they haven't come out yet, but I have 3 Iceman, and 3 for Boomer, which are the same size. I can fit 5 in there, but a 6th one won't fit. So this might be an adjustment that Josh, or the creator, will have to make if he wants to get all these in there. And yet, he doesn't have the plastic tokens for these either, so there's no way for him to know. The Spot ones wouldn't fit in there, so he did what he could do, but definitely not everyone is going to buy plastic tokens, so you kind of gotta, like, how do you make it good? But yeah, just a little bit thicker. Also make these a little bit easier to come out, but it would fit all the tokens as well. And again, now you get that issue if you want to play as a hero, and he might have had hero ones for these, but you have to have some heroes that maybe have 3, but then you come across some guys, and I'm not going to say for sure, might have more than one set of tokens, or you get like Gaming Madrox, which has a bunch of, or Doom, which have a bunch of civilian or thug tokens. Obviously, you're not going to be able to put those guys on here, because you have unless you get a thing on each side, but even then it might not be enough room. The last differently designed one we have is, I have with Red Skull, he has one with his cube. So some of the guys get cubes. And I did, for comparison, is I did an unsleeved set of cards. You can see how they're a little bit looser in there compared to, we'll just look at Sabertooth here. So like with sleeve cards, they fit in very snug. With the unsleeved cards, they're loose. They kind of tip back and forth. But again, it's going to hold them in there. They're just ideal. If they're just sitting on your shelf, it's not going to hurt them at all. But yeah, so it's very cool that they'll fit both. They're not going to fit in tight or anything, so it's not going to grind on your unsleeved cards. So you can do either one. The other thing I want to show off with these really quick is I have actually painted a bunch of miniatures. And I'm not a very good painter, but I do want to do a little self-promotion here on this, just to show off what some of them are. Now, the other thing I've done with these is I have made my own nameplates. So these nameplates are mine, but there's a difference between, so my Red Skull, I actually glued his cube to him because I have enough cubes I can spare one or two. But I could definitely switch him over to like this side as well. And then you have the cube just to grab him. But you can see like sleeve versus non-sleeved, your difference again, as well as how they look with this cool nameplate I did. So like the villains, I have their name, their regular name. They have a red border if they're a villain. We have some other ones here. I'm going to swap some of these guys out. I'm going to put him back over here. We have Taskmaster. Again, I'm a very amateur painter, so, you know, pardon me on that. And then I have Ultron. And if you're curious about the symbols, these symbols for the villains I took from the Marvel Versus System game, which groups characters by teams. So I kind of did the teams for Red Skull as henchmen, Taskmaster or the Underworld team. Ultron just got a villain symbol because there wasn't a specific one for Ultron. But yeah, so it's kind of neat. You can do these own things. And then I did for, we got Captain America. So I'm going to show these up really quick. We got Black Widow. Yeah, I put their names underneath because I thought it's kind of nice. Plus, it's for some of them where we have, you know, we have Captain America, Steve Rogers. We have Captain America, Sam Wilson. You know, later on we might get other Wasp or Ant-Mans. Plus, we also have how many different Spider-Men, how many different Batman, you know, stuff like that. So these symbols I took were literally the ones from the backs of their cards up on the top. So I just have the back little symbol on there. It's just a little identifier because I like those. Oh, and I tipped everything over. And that's what I did for all those. I don't have an example. And even some of these, right? So like they're having trouble sliding in there. So you just gotta do a couple at a time versus the entire stack. And then they fit perfectly well. If I actually knock them in there right. Yeah, so we have those three. But yeah, I love the little symbol because it also helps kind of draw your eye to it. They have a blue border to show they're a hero. We have the last three heroes. We have Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Iron Man, Tony Stark, and the Hulk, which I need to like adjust the color on his symbol. Oh, and we have one last one. We'll drop him. We have Ant-Man. So I do also with my nameplates, I have one other thing going on, which I didn't print off any examples of, but I do have the anti-hero, or a couple other examples of anti-hero, which will have a blue and red border, so you can see that they're both. So, you know, again, you can quickly define them by color if you just can't tell by deck thickness. And then the other thing is, you notice there's a gap at the top, and that's for, like, different versions. So eventually we have Iron Man, we have Civil War Iron Man, or Captain America. That set, we also have original Captain America, or we have Hulkbuster Iron Man, or Gray Hulk. We get promo for him. So I can put the extra little name up on top, so you know it's big name is who the character is, the top name is the various version of them, and then the bottom one would be their real name, so if they have that. And I just wanted to include the real name for all the heroes, all the villains, if they have some, like, you know, Ultron didn't have one. And that was just because in that way they all kind of kept the same theming. Alright, so the next thing we have for this creator is a very similar thing. He made some more stands just like this, but for another game, which not everyone might own, but it is for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventure game. So yeah, this one's kind of neat because it gets rid of the nameplate part, but it has the spot for their dice. So if I want to play as Leonardo or Slash, I can just grab these cards right off my thing, just pick them up with their fingers in there, and I can grab their 3 dice. The only character that's not going to work with that would be Loner Raph, because it comes with 6 dice, but that's what it is. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. But you can see, like, I wanted to do Slash because he's such a much bigger character. He fits in there. Now, these bases are smaller than the Marvel ones. So just noticing that. So the Marvel guys don't fit in there. But yeah, that's definitely a neat little thing. So if you play the Turtles game, you can do this as well as making it nice and easy. The only thing I see is possibly maybe being a thing is that Leonardo's is a little bit tighter than this, but they still fit because he did get some extra cards. Unfortunately, this is a game that they're not continuing with. There are people making additional characters, additional content, and additional models you can buy off of Etsy and other stuff like that. And if you choose to do that, that's great. Entirely up to you. We can also swap in the Batman miniature sets as well. I didn't grab any of the cards or dice for them, but the Batman series that goes with this also work perfectly fine. So that's definitely cool. The 2 other things I wanted to show off for the Turtle set is we have the original series. So they had the Adventure system, which came out. Then before that, they had, I want to say it's called Shadows of the Past. More or less the same system, they just updated it. These guys have bigger bases, so they won't fit in there. So if you're trying to play with the original ones, they won't fit in these stands. So it's just something to keep in mind. And then the other thing I did, as just an alternate, is I took one of the United villain bases. I took the villain because it's a little bit thicker. I put Shredder on there. Now again, his stand's not going to fit in there, but this is maybe something that could potentially be. He made the ones for the Turtles or for the hero figures. Maybe he could make a set for the villains, which we already see this size is probably good enough for most of the villains. They have pretty beefy sized decks. They don't have dice, unless you wanted to like just include the dice section in there instead, and then you put some of the regular battle dice because you have to grab a villain. Hey, I already got 3 battle dice ready to go for them. That could be a possibility too. Alternatively, they also have some of the characters that are like most of them, like Shredder, most of the villains and stuff, can be played as both. So there's a possibility of making a double set like the, one of these for both of them. So you could have, my villainous Shredder in here, and then have my heroic Shredder cards in the front. And you need to just shrink up that base a little bit. But even if you don't, even if you just buy these like they are, they're still very functional. And if you're wondering why I have that picture, because the back of the cards are all random, because you don't know who you're going to draw. So yeah, that's definitely neat there. I just wanted to show them off. And he's still making more stuff for the Marvel ones. He's making some of the other ones. He's adding different tokens as he gets the sets. He knows he can measure the sizes and check that. There's talks about making some sort of base standees for the Marvel United Giant figures, such as Giant Man, Stature, like the new one for like probably the Sentinel, stuff like that. But you gotta figure out how to work it in there. So it's definitely cool that he keeps evolving his stuff and making more stuff as he's been doing this, which is really cool. Alright, so for part 3 of the video, we're going to look at one more type of stand. Alright, so the last one is we have a little stand like this, just a multi-stand. This doesn't hold cards or anything. This is meant more for games that would have miniatures that you're going to grab a bunch of them, army stuff. Stuff like Zombicide and some other games. I grabbed a bunch of different miniatures from games I have just to kind of show off what some different ones look like on here. These stands come, the Etsy store has multiple user sizes. This is one that holds, 8 figures. They have a 10, I think a 12. Plus there's also some that go with classic shelving, which are really cool. I didn't buy one of those because they're a little bit more expensive. I just kind of wanted to show this off. I don't have any necessary room for it at the moment, but it might be something I look at in the future. But they're basically bigger ones that come with a big block, and then they can attach to the block. You can put a block on top of each other, make steps with them. You can do some other really cool stuff in here. Yeah, so it's really neat what you can do with some of those things. Go away there. Let's see if I can find a picture of it quick. So yeah, they have this type of stand right here. So you get 18 or 17 figures, and they have this block with them. You can see there's a bunch of different figures on there. And they stand up. So this is just a bigger giant one. You can put them on top of your boxes. And then you guys have another one that works like that as well. But yeah, these are really neat for if you want just some other different options. So like here he has one that's next to Call of the Cthulhu box. You can have all your miniatures going up. See, some are painted, some don't look like they are for this top of a box. You can attach them together to make big different styles, because they come with these blocks and then they attach to the blocks. This is same idea as what I'm showing right now, just as a bigger idea of it, which is really neat. These are for 25 millimeter figures. So yeah, they're your regular different base sizes. So he has some different other sizes and stuff too. He has some for Blood Rage, which might work for bigger figures. But as you can see, I can take some Zombicide guys. So these are some Black Plague, and they fit in there. Now, depending on how much stuff sticks off, you might have to turn them a certain direction. You see, like, his arm might end up bumping into it. They have weapons that stick out, so like you might have to turn him this way. So you have to play around with how you display them. You get some of the bigger abominations aren't going to fit on here though. So you could have like one that showed for Blood Raiders, had bigger circles and smaller circles, so that might work better for some of those. But I know that the abominations can start to come in all different sizes, so it ends up becoming a little bit more of a chore to try and figure them out. But they do work for regular Zombicide. And again, they look good if these are some of the, these are 2.0 up here. These are classics, which I have painted. And they have different base sizes. Now, it's not going to fit with the ring on there, but I can pop my ring off. And again, these are very, very, very roughly painted, but this is, again, I'm just getting into painting. But yeah, you can see they're going to hold different size Zombicide characters, which look really cool. So this is sitting on your shelf. You can have all your characters up there. I didn't grab a card for one of them. I'm going to grab one quick. I just want to see something. My card's stuck. So I grabbed one for Invader versus one of the other ones. But yeah, we take one of these stands here. So it's not quite wide enough for a Zombicide stand. But maybe that's something potentially, if people are interested in, is to have, again, make this a little bit smaller, like the Ninja Turtle size. And then possibly have like your Zombicide card in the back. That'd be kind of a neat way to display your characters as well. Again, if you own all the Zombicide, you have hundreds of Zombicide survivors, especially if you get all the Kickstarters. So shelf space might be an issue, but it could be a cool way to like, hey, these are like the 10, 20 characters we play with frequently. We can just pull them off the shelf. Again, even if they're not painted, they still look pretty cool. They look kind of neat on there. Their card in the back. I'm not sure if all the cards though are upright. Some I think one set's turned sideways. So that might be the only issue there. But yeah, so that's definitely cool. I want to look at some of the other miniatures. Again, I don't have miniatures for every single game ever. But we have some here that are for not unstable, detestable games, Creature Kingdom, Draco Studios, War for Chicken Island, and Kiwi Chowdown. And these guys all fit on here as well. Really neat. We also have their other game, Dodos Riding Dinosaurs, which these guys kind of fit. The problem is they tend to stick over the bases quite a bit. So I did have some of these I started to paint. It's like my Brontosaurus here. He's going to fit, but I'm going to have to turn him certain directions. But he's almost going to have to be like running forward. But again, if I do like my T-Rex, he won't even fit. Also now I have to turn him sideways. So then now, can I get another guy down here? Maybe. If I start turning all my dinosaurs in a running direction, so he won't even fit on the bottom because that guy's face is in the way. So I have to turn him that way. So this particular base isn't going to work the best for the dinos because they stick over their bases so much. Again, you kind of ran into some of the zombie side stuff where they have weapons that stick way out. But yeah, you can definitely, put them on like staggering around. And you could get some really neat ones on there. But yeah, just kind of wanted to point those out in case you wanted to display your dinosaurs. Also, just to show that off, they're a little bit smaller than that base, but they do have cards as well. Again, that always a potential. Again, I don't want to make this creator make thousands of customizable stuff. So speaking of zombie side, we have Marvel zombie side. We have the DC one coming out as well. These guys have bigger bases than these, so they will not fit in there. Just also note that they are the same size as the Marvel United guys. So although they are zombie side, they're a little bit bigger bases. So again, there might be just a little bit bigger size for that. Just keep an eye on that. And again, their cards are a lot bigger. So they're not going to fit in there. But I think they're the same. Yeah, so they're not even the same width as that. So you have to make multiple different ones or something. Just something to throw out there. Another game that's kind of fun that we have, Munchkin Dungeons. So you get all their little, all their different munchkins, their different monsters. And although it's small guys will fit in there, but they have multiple different sizes. Again, they have some bigger ones, some medium ones that won't fit in these, but you can put maybe the small ones. Again, maybe just display your munchkins and maybe not the enemies. Always a possibility. We got a couple more on here to show off. We have Firefly Adventure. This is perfect size for these if you want to show off the crew of the Serenity. They have their action poses, and then they have their standards. You can always do like their standard on one, and then their action on the other, and do like, here's Mal, here's Jane, here's, Inara, there's Zoe. You could get a bigger one. That'd be kind of a neat thing to do, especially if you get them painted. It'd be a really neat way to display all them guys. So that's pretty cool. We have Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight's miniatures are too big for these as well, but again, they're this size. There's just them two different size bases, right? So I kind of wish I'd been paying attention to that. I would have seen about getting another base, but I just wanted to show that off. Same thing, Star Trek. The Star Trek away missions. They're kind of right in the middle. That's the bummer. You get something like that. They're too big for these ones, but they're just a little bit too small for this size. So probably get this size and maybe have them hover around. I got two more to show off here. We have Scott Pilgrim. So these come pre-painted if you get them that way. They do fit in there that they're a little tight. So I'm not trying to force them in there, but they do kind of fit in there. But we have Scott and Matthew Patel here. So yeah, if you get all the painted guys, you could get this and you could display them. That'd be kind of a fun way to have your Scott Pilgrim cast out. Especially because they're all professionally painted, so they look beautiful. Then the last one I want to show off is He-Man. And this is He-Man Clash for Eternity by Simon, not He-Man Fields of Eternia, or Battlegrounds, which are by Ankron Studios. They have different size bases. I don't have the other games, so I can't compare them. I think they're a little bit smaller. But yeah, these guys are just a little bit too big. But again, they fit pretty much perfect in there. And this might be another option, is you can already put their cards in there. Here the size for the mini cards. Again, I have some of She-Rod's ally cards in here. But that might be a neat way to even do that. Like, hey, we're going to display these. I can grab them. I have all these. I don't have their big character cards, which I think are a lot bigger. They're more like the zombie side size. There's a potential another option if you're going to display all your He-Man guys. Oh, I can grab this guy, grab that guy. Alright, so that was pretty fun. That is what we have. Again, he has some other stuff. He has some, there's the website name again. 1UpYourGames at 1UpYourGameXE.com. This is Josh who runs it. I've talked to him a bunch of times while ordering this stuff. And about this stuff, he's been really great about things. He'll try to help me out if hey, this doesn't fit right. He's been working with me on adjusting some stuff for maybe the next order. So he's a great guy for that. I can't recommend this enough. These are really cool. This is cool. The marble box is really neat. Again, he has some other bigger stands if you have a lot of miniatures you want to display really quickly. You don't have cards and stuff, you can do that. They have some of these different styles. He has some other stuff as well. Some boards for Arkham Horror, the card game, to like hold all your cards, your scenarios, your acts and stuff on there, as well as holding like the Doom tokens when you're getting those, as well as the arrows for work go in between. So I have a site right up. I can probably just show you guys quick some of this other neat stuff. Yeah, some arrows for searching between areas. So there is the holders for holding the cards. You can stack some behind them. Sorry for everything being glitchy. But yeah, you can put like your acts and your agendas on there, some cards behind you if they're doing stuff, your tokens on there if you're keeping track of those. Then he has the arrows for going in between locations, which is very helpful, so you can easily just tell which locations you can travel back and forth from. So that's really fun as well. Then he has another thing for Arkham. I love Arkham, so I might end up buying some of these as well. Holder for your character card, plus the total for your 4 abilities, so you can keep track of them. That's really neat for your Spindle. And then instead of weighing all your stuff on there, you can put all your extra tokens up there. Yeah, very, very handy little spin down counters, neat. Here are the Blood Rage ones I was talking about. So these are ones that have 4 Blood Rage specifically, so they're different sizes. Same size, we have different colors based on that. But you did have another one. This one here, which had one for different sizes. This might hold some of the bigger and smaller guys. This could be really cool for zombie side. You have like necromancers and walkers or runners on the bottom, have your big abominations on top. Could definitely work there. I think the other one I want to show off, he has some storage stuff for some other things, but yeah, there's some extra really cool stuff in there for all this stuff. So yeah, I recommend checking this out if you like this stuff. I know it's been a super long video, but I really wanted to go in depth about this because I think it's really cool. And so with this said, definitely hit me up in the comments if you have any questions about, but specifically about this stuff. You have to contact the creator for these. I don't have any actual like business or license or anything to do with him. I've just been purchasing his products. But yeah, definitely if you have a question you want to ask me, I can try and talk about what I have. But if you want to know if something can be done, you'd have to talk to him. I don't want to put words in his mouth on saying what he can, can't, or is willing or not willing to do. Speaking of that, though, if there's any other cool Etsy creations or something you found on another site that people are making, let me know. I'd love to check it out. I love upgrading my games. It definitely makes the game feel better when you get some things like that. This is one that's not a board on the playfield thing, but it's definitely going to make my miniatures look a lot cooler being out. And if you don't think I don't like displaying my miniatures, that is my wall of Skylanders and Disney Infinity figures, and that's not even all of them. So yeah, me loving to display little miniatures is definitely something. So it's cool that I'll have a neat way to display them all, and I can also show these guys off before I even get them painted, because it's going to take me a while to paint all these, so I can have them all up there. And it's kind of neat. So I have this character, that character. It's just going to look really cool. Thanks for joining me. See you guys later. Bye.